Hi. So let's quickly play around the technology. So the technology is the application of the knowledge in ethical and efficient way for the development. So this can be observed in almost all the culture of the world. So let's let's see in the Vedic culture where the technology and can be seen at the highest quality. So, when we come to Hinduism or Vedic culture in India, there are two main great epics called Ramayana and Mahabharata, which are historical events, which also consist of great spiritual and technological information. So, this took place lots of years back, but many historians has found many great data in it. So before we move on into the whole scriptures, let's understand the power of human brain or a trained brain or efficient human mind. So according to the modern studies, so human brain when used at its maximum or in a very good level, the total storage capacity of human brain is around 2.5 million gigabytes, and it has a processing speed of around 100 terawatt or roughly like 100 trillion computations per second. So for this we have to make use of our brain to the maximum. So what if by analysis of the scriptures of and studying history, the technology used in ancient culture concentrated more on developing the individual skills. Like for example, we can have many we can see many algorithms like abacus, which helps in more computation, and Shakuntala Devi, for example, we can see the superhuman capabilities or computer capabilities within humans. So that was the technology used. And also many other species has the ability to sense many information and process it at their intelligence and behave according to the environment, which can be seen as the output. So when analyzed our own sense organs, our five sense organs senses the five types of data in the environment, and our mind processes it, stores it, and retrieves at the correct situation. So all these can be seen as a well developed or well designed machines as gifted by the god to us. So I think we should try to utilize it in a better way, and we can see its implementation in the scriptures. So when coming to Mahabharata, I request you all to please know the background of Mahabharata. It's a great epic. So let's quickly go through the technologies. So one of the technologies is high-speed data transfer. So Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata where Supreme Lord Sri Krishna has given the great psychological knowledge or the cosmic knowledge to Arjuna in the battlefield when Arjuna was going into the state of depression. So Arjuna is a great warrior and also a great scholar, but due to some emotional attachments, he could not able to wage a war in the battlefield. So Krishna taught the Bhagavad Gita, which consists of around 700 verses in Anushtup Chandas, or it's a Vedic meter. So it consists of around 22,400 characters within the 18 chapters. So I told this was uttered at the battlefield, right? So how much time did they take to grasp it, receive it, or transmit it, and process it and deploy the information in the brain? Only few seconds. Yeah, the 700 characters was transmitted from Krishna to Arjuna, and Arjuna grasped it, understood it, processed it, and deployed it the war, which gave him the victory. These understanding and processing of all the data took place only within few seconds. That's it. So this is the power of speed transfer they had. The next is authentication of the information. As I told, by continuing the previous high-speed data transfer, so there were many people, there were soldiers, there were army general, admirals, and everyone was there. But only Arjuna could see and receive the information given by Lord Krishna. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says he is not only giving the audio information, but also he is giving the visual information. The visual information is as gigantic as the sky. Nabha Sparsham Deeptam, as told in the 11th chapter, which is the motto of IAF, Indian Air Force now. So all those gigantic data was only authenticated and could be seen only by Arjuna, although there were many people in the sidebys. So that was the level of security of configure through the mind directly itself. And coming to the next one is wireless communication. Since the king Dhritarashtra was blind and he needed the real-time data of the war, which was happening around 150 kilometers in the battlefield from the royal palace, Vedavyasa and Krishna had managed to develop a system or configure the human senses so that every audio signal and every visual signal in the battlefield could be sensed or could be seen by a royal officer named Sanjaya. So Sanjaya could able to see and hear all the real-time data and incidents taking at the war, and he could narrate everything directly at the real time to King Dhritarashtra. So this was the wireless communication, and I don't know if they had used any electronics or some other gadgets, but I hope even though they might have used it, they might have used the instruments, the majority part would be played by the human senses directly itself. And so this in Sanskrit language or Samskrita language, it is called Divya Drishti or divine vision, clear vision in a Western term. So coming to the guided weapons, there was one great scholar and warrior named Ashwathama who took part in the Kurukshetra war. So after the war, due to some emotional depression as his father was killed by Arjuna, Ashwathama decided to kill the grandson of Arjuna who was in his mother's womb. So Ashwathama, since he was in the battlefield and baby and the child were in royal palace, Ashwathama just took his specially designed bow and installed an arrow in it and uttered some hymns or Vedic mantras which he had mastered it. So this can be understood as he deployed his mastery information to the specially designed hardware and deployed it or launched to the destination in order to precisely hit the target without harming anyone else. And that too worked. As written in the text itself, the Brahmashir Astra obeyed the command as Ashwathama did. And yeah, aerospace. Aerospace or aeronautics is one of the greatest discovery, and the principle is discovered, and greatest invention of mankind. Yeah. So this idea of aeronautics or the science of flying is common in our culture, as I've seen. So in India, these aeroplanes or spacecraft were called as Vimana. According to a great saint and scientist called Narayana Acharya, Vimana is that machine which can able to fly on its own like a bird. So I think God is the greatest aeronautical engineer since he made the bird. Okay. The Vimanas described in the Ramayana are very eco-friendly. In fact, a Vedic saint named Bharadvaja has written a Vimanika Shastra and Yantra Sarvasva, that meaning the science of aeronautics or yantras, which means machines in Sanskrit. So which describes various types of vimanas, their designs, their research, their development, their manufacturing processes, and the source of energy on which they move. So in Hinduism, a Vishwakarma is called as a cosmic engineer. So Vishwakarma designs and develops many buildings, weapons, machines, and etc. for angels, demigods, and other great emperors of the world. So he knows the art of developing and shipbuilding too. So in one definition, like Pushpaka Vimana and Tripura Vimana, Rukma Vimana and all, so it could obey the waves, the commands in the form of waves. For example, like if the user thinks he has to go to right or left, the Vimana could sense the brain waves and obey the command. Or it could sense the vibration in the voice and it could obey the commands as the user says, or the specific user says after the authentication process. So this idea itself is a great thing. So next, coming to the civil engineering and constructions. So this is one of the oldest engineering known to all mankind, all cultures of the world. So we can see many temples, prayer halls, palace, forts, and everywhere in this whole earth, which are beautifully constructed, designed, and developed according to astronomical movements, their creativity and acoustics and everything. So in India too, there are many great temples like Beluru, Chennakeshava temple, Somnathpura temple, Ellora caves, Hampi temple, which are great. I mean, in Hampi also there are, in Vittala temple, there are 7 pillars of, when beaten at a correct position, which hears the 7 notes of music, Sarigama Padani, and also in Western vibrations. So in Mahabharata text, we can see the Indraprastha palace. So when we just analyze or go through the text, it also describes about 3-dimensional holograms and augmented reality used in the construction of the Indraprastha palace. So medicine is another one of the oldest technology and sciences known to mankind. So every corner of the world uses its own medicine style, and India used Ayurveda system of medicine, where the diseases is analyzed and cured by herbal extractions. So in Ramayana too, we can see where the doctor treated Lakshmana, who fell unconsciousness, who was treated by many secret medicinal herbs and some other practices, which actually healed him and brought victory to the war. So this shows that the stage of coma were well known to ancient times. And also Charaka and Sushruta were great surgeons and doctors who even made many plastic surgery and brought many medicinal revolution in the society. So if you can try to map the blockchain technology to karma theory, so karma theory is nothing but the future is the function of present. So whatever we do now, we get the result in the future at the right time, at the correct time, in the correct situations. So why everyone are not rich, why everyone are not poor, why there is a difference of happiness and sadness, why there is a difference in birth and all. So these are based on the previous karma or previous actions, maybe in previous life or afterlife or future life, which is actually encrypted in many religions. So luck and all those things can be explained by blockchain theory. How? If a person is getting something now, so this is because of just like a causal system whose output depends on the present state and previous states, which has memory. So whatever the result we are getting now is due to the function of our present mindset and the previous actions which we did. That is somewhat can be mapped to blockchain technology as of now. And also to invoke in Vedic practices and many other practices all around the world, to invoke any angels or demigods, we use the specific rhythm of mantras or hymns, which can be told as API, which connects two different dimensions or two different remote places or two different to two different sites to invoke them or recite them. So that can be mapped to URL and metadata. And coming to another most interesting thing, the biotechnology, where Mahabharata is very well focused on biotechnology. So Gandhari, the wife of Dhritarashtra, had made a mistake and was suffering a disease like when she was pregnant. So the great scientist and saint called Veda Vyasa used the biotechnology and he cured all. He rectified all the mistakes and which made her to give birth to 101 children. So that is one of the notable biotechnology which can be seen. So hacking and psychological cyber attacks. Nowadays there are more cyber attacks, right? So but cyber attacks are on the computers, not on the person directly himself or herself. So what if we can hack or attack the human mind directly? So that's called hypnotism, right? So in Uddhava Gita of Mahabharata and Hanuman Chalisa and in many other books and even in scientific journals, there is a mention of this hypnotism and all those things. So what if we can study the what if we can know the data within another human's mind? So what kind of information they have? So how do they perceive the object? How can we perceive those information? So that is what it's like Prapti or something. It is one of the 8 great achievements or siddhis told in Hinduism. So those things are also mentioned in the scriptures. So there are many such technologies. With the list goes on. So one of the other things are that music and mathematics. Mathematics, as you know, it is one of the fundamentals of everything. And music is something which has to be noted actually. So all those musical instruments uses the acoustics of physics. So in what melody, in what frequency the material has to be selected, and how it should be designed and manufactured, how it can be used. All these things are pure science and applied acoustics. So these are very interesting and it's a great technology, and it also improves our brains. And of course, cosmology. It is as old as the science of medicine. So Indian astronomers and cosmologists like Parahamihra, Aryabhatta, Bhaskaracharya, and everyone has contributed a lot to the cosmology, the field of cosmology and astronomy. So coming to Mahabharata, we can also see the great time dilation concept of the physics. So the Lord Brahma created or developed the entire universe consisting of matter and life on the commands of Lord Sri Vishnu. So he divided the time into the respective parts with respect. If I talk with respect to our earth in which we are living, so approximately 1 second to the Lord Brahma, who is in Satyaloka, is approximately equal to 1 lakh years on earth or 100,000 years on earth. So if we calculate like that, to total lifespan of Lord Brahma is 100 years. The total lifespan of the Earth is around 3.091737 and 10 raised to 14 years on Earth. So this is what the calculation were in the ancient India. So how will this, where are the time dilation applied? In the artificial satellites to match the time zones between the time on the Earth and time above the Earth. So it is used in the artificial satellites. And yeah, as Vishwakarma I told, one of the example is that he developed a Gandiva bow, which actually had an authentication thing where only few selected people would access the bow. So it had a memory and authentication device which can be analyzed from this data. And yeah, and these Vedic scriptures has given a lot of contribution to modern physics, chemistry, biology, and all the branches of knowledge, even business and arts. Many scientists have told expressed their opinion on this, and historians too. And apart from that, there are many other technological and great products mentioned in Mahabharata, like Akshaya Patra or cooking machine. When user just inputs the requirements, it would assemble all the molecules in that particular structure and would give it to the user in a presentable way. So these, or nanotechnology or something, these were the greatest things which can be noted. And also it talks about yoga, which also balances mind, body, and spiritual energy, which develops the mankind to his maximum level, and also attain God. And it also includes other study like economics and all. Yeah. So all to what actually that scripture say. So any scripture says ethics, spirituality, and a good lifestyle would be a better thing to lead in life and be happy. So it ultimately takes to God. If Vedas are taken, Vedas are the eternal data and highest quality of data, which gives the information of everything, and the only source of information of God, from which all others arose according to their location and time. So there are many, although there are differences of rituals, there are many common things too. So yeah, if we though so by studying history and all those things, we come to know that Lord Vishnu, who is known via everything, who is all pervading, purest, devoid of defects, is the best object which can meditate on and attain the salvation. Who is the giver of salvation to all eligible souls. So thank you.